This is Lisa Tucker, host of The Book Cover, which showcases local literary personalities. So listen to The Book Cover on the borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Hi, you're listening on The Borderline. This is The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker, and today we have another repeat offender. Thank goodness we get repeat offenders. Tony Robinson-Smith, welcome.
Glad to offend again.
Yes, but we're offending on a different topic.
We are indeed.
We were, the last time we talked about your the books that you've written.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the Algomian Creative Writing Journal.
We are.
That you have at Algoma University,
Correct.
To which you were a professor.
Yes, I am there.
You were there. And you're also the managing editor and founder of the journal.
Indeed, that's right. Yes.
Let's go right back
You've
to
done
the
your
beginning.
homework.
Well, I asked you a couple of questions before we started. Let's go right to the beginning. So
Sure.
when did you found the journal?
Okay, so this takes us back to 2022. I was a new arrival here from New Brunswick, starting up my limited term appointment as a professor of English in the English and History department at Algoma U. Mm-hmm. And the first courses that I was teaching were academic writing. I serve as a writing instructor, and I got to know my students a little bit, and some of them showed interest in writing other things apart from academic essays,
Right?
like a typical kind of like.
They're kind of stifling.
Yeah,
Academic
absolutely.
essays, yeah.
And
To
they're
the
a bit
creative
formulaic.
writer. Yeah,
absolutely. They wanted to write stories or poems or mini plays, that kind of thing. And I got approaches like, well, is this part of study? Can we do that kind of thing? And I said, well, not on this course, because the course was Academic Writing Fundamentals. But there weren't any creative writing courses happening when I first arrived. But the folks who took me on, the department, knew that I'd been teaching creative writing in my previous university. So that was, what I was going to be doing once I kind of got underway. And so that wasn't happening initially. And the first fall and winter, I decided, given that interest from the students, that I would convene a writing circle. And this would meet every couple of weeks on campus. Mm-hmm. And it would be specifically focused on creative writing. So those who were turning out these stories and poems and mini plays and whatnot would be able to get together with the like-minded and workshop their stuff. And so we met, and it was surprising. We had a pretty big crowd right from the get-go because I spread the word pretty wide.
Now, did you offer any extra credit or anything like that?
No.
They just came because of the interest.
They absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it attracted writers from the larger community as well, so from town. And we all gathered in a big room, and we just talked about the kinds of things that we were writing, mm-hmm. And then we agreed to meet regularly to share our own work, which meant sending out whatever you were writing to the others, and then having a bit of time to read it through and think about comments to make, and meeting again, and then going round in the circle mm-hmm. to workshop each person's stuff. And the variety of creative writing was quite extraordinary. We had a girl who was working on the second chapter of a fantasy novel. We had a guy who wanted to write a poem about a funeral he'd just been to. We had somebody else who was turning out flash fiction, mm-hmm. But had never published any of it and thought it wasn't any good and mm-hmm. wanted other eyes to look at it. Somebody else working on autobiography. It was a real mix, and so we had these meetings that were enormously positive, and that went through from 2022 to 2023, and that's when I began teaching creative writing. And I discovered the same thing in my classes. So there hadn't been creative writing classes for quite a while. And then here I was teaching them, and the students wanted to
Isn't that
show
wonderful
their,
when you're passionate
Yeah.
about something and you're thinking, oh, are other people? And then
Yeah.
the answer is yes when you throw that out there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was a multi-genre course, that first one, so the students were able to try their hands at a variety of stuff: fiction, short stories, poetry, creative nonfiction, and one-act plays. We did those 4.
Wow.
And once again, there was this interest and a sense of, well, where is all of this going? Like for the writing circle, they weren't sure, and for the students, well, you get a grade for the course,
Right.
But for both parties, like there was also an interest in, is this publishable?
Yeah.
Could I send this out somewhere and people could read it? And there are opportunities online, and you can send your stuff out to numerous little publishing houses or to magazines, but there wasn't really something right here local. And it's always good when you're starting out as a writer to be able to score on home turf, right?
Test the waters.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a little bit of acceptance, and then you can move on to spread your wings a bit and send out with greater confidence elsewhere. So there had been a precedent before I came here, and that was called Algoma Inc. And
Was it INK?
INK, yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Algoma
Okay. I think
Inc.
I remember this.
Yeah, so that was in existence from the 1990s through to, I'm going to say, about 2006, 7, 8, that kind of time. That was founded by a wonderful poet and professor at Algoma U, I didn't meet, called Elana Bondar.
Yes.
And sadly she passed away.
Yes.
But she did a fantastic job of creating this journal. It was a print version, and painstakingly put together. She was aided at that time by Marissa Ross, who's currently in charge of the writing centre at Algoma U. And they were a fantastic team, working together. And so I gained access to a few copies of Algoma Inc. From the library. The e-services librarian Robin Izzard dug out a few copies.
Robin is an amazing writer as well.
Yes.
Have you read his book?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes. The Guild of Salt. It's wonderful.
I loved it.
Oh, it's very compelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, we were destined to start working together on this project. He's a fantastic person to work with. Anyway, he gave me a few copies, and I got a few others from another professor in my department, Michael DeSanto, who has been here a long time, and he also had some copies. I was looking through and admiring this thing, and I was thinking, well, could we not produce something similar? Now, a print creation, it was a possibility, but we thought, this is me and Robin coming together on this one, we thought that maybe an online journal would have greater reach. Yes. And
not just Algoma University, but
absolutely, and yeah, absolutely,
the world at large. Really.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Depending on how you promote it and advertise it, and get it out there.
Yeah.
It has that potential.
Sure, it does.
Yeah, and so he's a bit of a tech wizard, and he said, well, come up with an online magazine is not such a hard thing. It'd be a hard thing for me, but it wasn't such a challenge for him. And so he cottoned on to Open Journal Scholar, I think it's called, a journal system that
like a
platform, absolutely, that would serve our purposes. And he spent a bit of time just like creating it. And then we called on those folks in the writing circle and in my classes to try submitting to this new platform.
Sure.
And then we were kind of up and running, and our official launch was back in February last year.
2024.
That's right.
I always want to say 2004.
Yeah, 2024. That's right.
Yeah.
And to great fanfare, we had an event in the Speakeasy, and that was like celebrating our first issue. There were 10 writers there. There were a mixture of students and writers from the community, and they gathered together, and we tried to introduce the journal to the university community. The president of the university was there, and we had our writers come up and read at the mic. So they were proudly read their stuff. It had been published. They were already proud, and they proudly put it out to the university community. And the president was really impressed with this and gave a speech herself, saying, what a great outlet for creative writers, to be able to publish on home turf and put their stuff out to the world, and have that confidence and have something that goes beyond just getting a grade on a course and then you're all done.
Yeah, and the confidence part, I talk to a lot of writers, and that is, I think that is the one thing that's keeping our little Northern Ontario creative writers, that's the thing that holds them back, is the confidence, because everybody that comes in here doesn't think their stuff is good enough, are very humble about what they've written. And I think if we can build up artists of any type, their confidence, we're only gonna, everybody benefits.
And it started to get known a little bit, beyond the confines of the university. Brian Davis, who you know well,
Brian Davies,
Tacoma Press, has also been wonderful in just spreading the word and encouraging writers to have the confidence that you just mentioned to send some stuff to us for consideration. So it's kind of growing, and we've just published our third issue. It's now volume 2. We're now in 2025, so we're into a new second volume. There's 2 issues, by the way, per year, a winter issue and a summer issue. We've just published our winter issue, and then we'll be looking for contributors to our summer one, which the deadline for that is June the 15th.
Okay.
So that's anybody listening to this little chat, and you've got a story tucked away in your bottom drawer or a poem that needs to be released, then see that as a deadline, and go on to the journal website, and there's a submission button and instructions, and go for it.
So so anybody can contribute, not just Algoma University students.
Correct. Anybody
all over the world?
Yes, indeed. Although right now it doesn't really have that reach.
Right.
Our contributors have been local.
Yeah.
But in the first issue, there was a student in my creative writing class who was from Spain, and he wrote something very good. It was a little kind of like apocalyptic sci-fi story, and we liked it a lot, and so we went with that, and now he's gone home, and there we are. We've got a Spanish contributor.
Yeah. Are there any gatekeepers at all? Like, if I, not everything is going to be publish worthy.
No, you're right.
So what are the gatekeepers?
So we now have an editorial board,
and
that board is myself, Robin Izzard from the library, Tracy Spurway also from the library, she's a university librarian, and Professor John Paul Chalikov, who's in Anishinaabe studies. And the four of us meet once the submission deadline has passed, and we look at all the submissions together and discuss them. And some we're going to reject because they're not quite what we're looking for, or not quite up to standard. Others we're going to accept because they're great.
Yeah.
and others are in between. And we call these AWR, accept with revisions.
The in-between people.
Yeah. And then it's my job, it has been so far, to contact the authors and say, well, we like your stuff, but there are things that you want to look at again.
So do you contact everybody or just the in-betweens? Like, do you contact people with fantastic pieces and say, yes,
absolutely.
it's absolutely going in? Or people that give you shite? do you contact them and say, this is shite, try again?
Well, yeah. I don't phrase it quite like that. But,
you're probably a lot better at that.
Because, it's a small community, and it's not going to help you if you're dismissive in any way.
Of course.
So I know you're joking, but
I was joking.
What you want is we have some reservations. This is not something we want to go with this time, but maybe if you work it over or send us something else, we'd love to hear from you again. That's the kind of the way I communicate with the ones that we're not going with. The ones that we are, splendid. Thank you very much for this. We like it a lot. There might be some things
edits or revision.
And I'm always going to run. We are always going to run that copy edited version by the author again, just to see if there's any final revisions. And then, kind of a longer letter goes out to the AWRs, saying, here are the areas of your poem or your play or your creative nonfiction sketch or story that we feel needs some development.
Right.
Okay, needs some attention. And then I just give, a deadline for that, and they go at it and then send the revised copy back to us.
Right, and then the process basically starts over again, whether you're accept, AWR, or...
Normally, we're past that, okay?
Oh, okay.
If we've accepted with revisions, then the assumption is those revisions will then...
Got it.
Lift the piece up to just outright acceptance.
Okay.
Unless you're right that maybe there might be the revisions aren't doing much good, and we need that to happen again. But that hasn't happened yet. Normally they spot the areas identified by us and work them over, and things work out sweetly.
Acceptable.
Yeah.
Now, what are the parameters? We talked a little bit before we started recording about sort of the rules.
Yeah.
How long does can fiction be? What is a poem? What are your what are your rules and
so those are things that we had to hammer out right from the get-go. We're not looking for voluminous pieces in terms of prose. We'll go to 2,500 words.
Yeah, well, you can't put a war and peace in.
No. We're going to be making some exceptions.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the interests of a good reading experience, then you don't want one piece being 5 times larger than any other, right?
Right.
We're looking for poems that are not Wordsworth's Prelude kind of length.
Got it.
Or Milton's Paradise Lost.
Yes.
We're looking for ones that are 20 lines long, something like that.
Shel Silverstein style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, you want the reading experience to be good.
Yeah.
A short, concise poem rather than one long, rambling one that goes on for pages and pages is probably the better way to go. You don't want the readers to get turned off of your journal.
Big pieces tend to intimidate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people are, as soon as they see a big fat book, they're intimidated by it. Or a big,
especially
long,
these days.
Yes.
Yeah, people seem to have shorter attention spans.
Absolutely.
So we don't, to continue that, we don't accept full-blooded plays either. like in 5 acts or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a 1-act play.
Okay.
It's going to run to kind of a maximum of about 10 to 12 pages. Again, that's worked out. If you read that kind of length of play, it's easily digestible, and you don't struggle.
And you also will accept, if somebody has a larger piece,
Yeah.
you will accept excerpts?
Yeah. Again, that needs to be set up well.
Yeah.
Okay. So if something does come from a novel, that's permissible. But again, because that novel isn't out there and purchasable, right? It needs to be contextualized. So if you've got a chapter or part of a chapter, and that reading experience of that particular piece needs to be set up carefully, so that the reader can go into that world and get something out of it and come out again knowing that it's part of a much larger piece, but still get something from
that's actually very difficult to take. Let's just say somebody has a 10,000 page chapter. Let's
like
just
you.
say. Yeah. And to try to get it down to 2,500 words.
Yeah.
But the audience still understands what's going on and is, and captured in that story.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Sometimes there can be in a chapter, though, a certain kind of climactic scene. If you set it up with an introductory paragraph to contextualize, say who the characters are, and then jump in there, it can work.
Yeah.
But it also can be a
nightmare.
I was going to say it can be a motivation for the writer to say, well, I've got this huge piece going on, and I'm writing all these chapters and everything. Could some of that be taken out and made into a little story, like a little micro story? And that can be of interest once that's done, and have a bearing on the larger novel. So it could be a challenge for the writer like that, an interesting challenge to take on.
I'm even just trying to wrap my mind around it, and it seems like a nightmare. Where do people go to? So if people are interested, now you gave our guru your site.
Yeah.
Let me just see here. So if people want to read the Algomian,
yes.
Okay. So it's quite a long, because you do have to go to the portal, the Scholars Portal.
Right. So if you just type in that, you can just actually type into Google the Algoma University, and it will come up.
Okay, that's a little bit easier than
on that bookmark I've just handed you. You've got the website address.
Yes. So if anybody's interested in reading it, the whole address is ojs.scholarsportal. So that's SCHOLARSPORTAL.info /Algoma/Algomian. And is it the same place? Do they go to the same place if they want to contribute?
Right, yes,
Same
absolutely.
place? Okay.
Yes. So you're just going to get this front page. We've got a wonderful piece of art on there. Incidentally, just to digress a little bit, another reason for making it a digital creation is that we can accept more genres of creative work. So we can accept art, accept cartoons, we can accept music videos.
Okay.
Now, we've already dabbled in art, and we'd love to get more of that. The others, not yet.
Okay.
But we're hoping that...
art like a painting?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So in the second issue, the front piece is a painting photographed and digitalized by the contributor. And that's what is like that's where the Algomian is written, and it's like volume 1 issue 2, and that piece of art is our lead piece.
What's the piece of art?
It's it's a person standing on a ledge against a cliff. It looks kind of like Robertson's Cliffs or something. Precarious little spot, and it's fantastic, the degree of dexterity in terms of painting the rock and what's growing on it. and this kind of precarious
The
position.
details, yeah. Who did it?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Somebody local?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
wow,
local
okay.
artist. Yeah.
I love that.
And we've had a couple of pieces like that. I'd love to get more of them.
And again, artists will just go to the Algomian and submit. You can submit.
Absolutely. So going back to your original question,
Yeah.
so you just go onto that page and you'll see at the top, just as you do for many websites, there'll be a bunch of tabs you can hit on, and one of those will take you to submissions, right? Submissions tab, and then you can get guidelines explaining how to present your piece. Okay, stuff about letter font and length and things to avoid. Okay, we want we don't want gratuitously violent things or racist or misogynistic, any of that
Absolutely,
kind of stuff. So you follow those guidelines, and this is true to any magazine you submit to. They always have these submission guidelines.
Absolutely.
And you just follow them through, and then when your piece is ready, then you submit it, and it enters the system and awaits editorial attention, and then goes through the process, and you get an acknowledgement reply saying you have successfully entered your piece to the Algomian, and we'll get back to you in due course.
Very cool. So as the founder, and now I guess a managing editor with other editors as well, where do you see the Algomian in, let's say, 5 years?
Well, great things begin, in small ways.
And sometimes by accident.
Yeah, I mean, most self-respecting universities with a reasonable arts education going on will have a creative writing journal. Dalhousie has the Dalhousie Review. University of New Brunswick has the Fiddlehead. St. Thomas University has the Nashwack Review. Western has the Orcassus. They all have them. Okay, and now we do. And some of these creations have been around for years and grow into nationally renowned things like the Malahat Review for UVic, for example, and the Fiddlehead.
I've heard of the Fiddlehead.
Yeah, you've heard of the Fiddlehead,
absolutely.
right? Yeah, and these are prestigious creative writing journals now, and they still are interested in publishing emerging voices, student voices. Yeah, it just has to be of high caliber, and this is the whole motivation, as I indicated before, behind doing this, is to give the opportunity to new writers to see their stuff out there just for a first time, get that little leg up, for our students to get an opportunity and want to study creative writing and English at our university, right?
And it looks great on a resume. Absolutely,
and it does, and this is something that my colleagues and I promote when teaching English at Algoma U, is that if you have a bit of a publication record, some editorial experience. We've just taken on a student editor called Fraser Willett, who's an English major with us, and he's now helping us promote the Algomian and getting that hands-on experience. And he may be destined towards a career in writing or one of those associated careers. So all of that helps to further the agenda of humanities, and more specifically the English, in my case, English and History department at Algoma U.
Yeah,
it promotes writing in a very positive way.
Right, and I'm just thinking a lot of grants for writers or publishers of writers. They'll ask, have you been published? Where can I see some of your pieces? What an I want to say easy way. If you're a good writer, what an easy way to sort of build up this portfolio.
Absolutely.
Yes, I have been published. This is where I've been published. published. I was published this many times.
Yeah.
And what's cool about different things, like the one you just mentioned that I said I'd recognized the name, Fiddlehead.
Yeah.
I
University
think,
in Brunswick, yeah.
Right. And I think what's cool is when you Google the person's name, the writer's name,
Yeah.
it'll come up in the journal.
Right.
And I
Right.
think I've Googled some people's name, author's name, and the Fiddlehead has come up.
Right.
And
Right.
I guess a thumbs up, or
Absolutely.
what I'm trying to say. It gives
Endorsement.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
it
you're
gives
totally
some
right.
credibility
Yeah.
to your body of work.
Yeah, and if you're seeking a job in writing, or writing is part of the job that you hope to do, then that kind of thing on your resume is going to impress.
Absolutely.
Like there are, writing well is still not what everybody can do.
Right. Unless you have Chat GPT.
Well, yeah. Now that's been complicated
Yeah.
by the arrival of
Now, do you check?
generative AI. It's on in our submissions list that we don't accept works that are AI generated.
Good.
Because a machine has written that, and not a person. We're
There's
interested.
no soul in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And machines don't enroll on courses at
Or need
Algoma U,
resumes, or need to build up their portfolio.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're interested in people
Yeah.
becoming good, strong writers.
Yeah.
We're not interested in
Machine.
machines doing it for them, because there's no human skill in that.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
No, none of that.
So again, people, if you are interested in reading the Algomian, probably the easiest way is to go to Google, type in Algomian, Algoma University. So Algomian is spelled Algomian. We have been speaking to Tony Robinson Smith, the managing editor and founder of the Algomian at Algoma University, which is a creative writing journal. I look forward to things to come with the Algomian.
Me too.
I look forward to Googling an author's name, and seeing that they've been published in the Algomian.
Yeah, that's where they made their start.
That's right.
And now they're
You knew
famous
them when.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Nationally renowned now.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
A pleasure again. Thank you.
Yes, and I know we're going to have you on again. I'm sure I can feel it in my bones. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. This has been The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker. You've been listening on The Borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover.
This is Tony Robinson Smith, the managing editor of the Algomian, the creative writing journal of Algoma University. We'd love to get some of your stuff, whether that be short stories, poems, creative nonfiction sketches, or one-act plays, even music videos or artwork. Google the Algomian and get onto our website, find out what has been published there, read it, and we look forward to receiving your contributions.